Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Baxter Boxing. Now, crazy news, man. This is like out of nowhere. Just popped up out of nowhere. Apparently, Yuriokis Gamboa is fighting Jason Sosa tomorrow, Saturday at Madison Square Garden in New York. Wow. Now, this is a really big deal, man. Now, I think Gamboa is still a phenomenal fighter. Uh, he has been taking L's against lesser opponents, but this is going to be a bar burner, man. Now Jason Sosa just came off a devastating loss from Dustin Lomachenko. He took a lot of shots in that fight. Lomachenko was basically doing whatever he wanted to in that fight, and it was just Jason Sosa took a lot of punishment in that fight, and he hasn't came off a win. So I'm not too sure how much of that those shots are lingering still. Now Gamboa has had a win since his loss against Robinson Castellano. He beat Alex Reyes, and it was a decision basically. So we'll see what Yuriokis Gamboa does, man. Now Jason Sosa is he's from around the New York area. He's from New Jersey, so he might have the hometown advantage. So we'll see what happens in this fight, man. I'm really excited. Every time I watch a Gamboa fight, you never know what's gonna happen. So these days, at least, so it's really gonna be exciting. Now, if you look at the height and reach advantage, Gamboa and Jason Sosa are really, really similar in both those regards. Now, Gamboa is actually slightly taller than Jason Sosa. Gamboa is 5'5.5", and Jason Sosa is 5'5". And the reach advantage goes to Jason Sosa by 2 inches. But Gamboa, he's a really great fighter because he's fighting so many different kind of fighters. He's fighting a lot of fighters. He's usually a smaller fighter most of the time he fights. So I'm not too sure if that 2-inch reach advantage is going to be a big thing in this fight. So we're going to see what's going to fight, man. This is a really even fight, and they're both coming off at times in their career where they really need this W, to get themselves back in the game, So we'll see what happens, man. It's gonna happen tomorrow, and I'm just shocked that no one's talking about this right now. Now, I can't make a prediction for this fight because I really didn't see any training from either of these fighters, so I'm not too sure if any of them were training before this to see, I'm not too sure if any of these fighters were training before this fight was even announced. They could have just been like, they could have just got a call and be like, hey, you got to fight in a couple of days, So I'm not too sure if any of these two fighters are actually in fighting shape. They can always be in shape, but to be in fighting shape and have a full training camp are two completely different things. So we'll see what happens, man. My opinion, I think the more naturally talented fighter is Gamboa, but I'm not too sure these days. I'm not sure if he's motivated like he used to be. So he could be slipping too. You take away Gamboa's speed, he has some big fundamental problems like keeping his hands down, and almost like a lazy defense. It's weird because when he's extremely, one of his biggest assets is him being extremely athletic, and when he's not athletic, he's sort of lazy in the ring. Gamboa is the kind of guy, if he's not dodging your punches, he would sit and like have his hands down and just get hit in the head. Gamboa is sort of a lazy guy, and it's crazy because his greatest assets is his athleticism, and when he loses that athleticism and his speed, he sort of becomes a below average fighter with, below average fundamentals because he doesn't even keep his hands up. So we'll see, man. Jason Sosa's always game fighter. He's a competitive fighter. I mean, I always thought Jason Sosa's best fight was against Nicholas Walters. That was a really competitive fight, man. He's a hard hitter. He's very durable. So we'll see what happens, man. I mean, this fight can go either way. Let me know how you guys feel. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace.